Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to Erina, Australia, and the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017. We're in the state of New South Wales, about an hour's drive north of Sydney, right on the coast. Lots of action ahead in the Erina ice world. This is where it's all happening as the teams are being introduced to the crowd. Lots of action in this men's session 6, and our featured lineup in this one will be Korea against Japan, two of the form teams here at this championship thus far, and both teams looking in great shape. I'm Alison Walker, and alongside me, Sandra Rollback, and we'll be bringing you live commentary on the whole game. There's the standings. Japan right at the top, 5 wins and no losses. Korea and Australia on 4 and 4. China 2 and 2. New Zealand 2 wins, 3 losses. And a bit further down the table we have Chinese Taipei, 2 wins and 3 losses. Qatar got their first win. Hong Kong and Kazakhstan yet to get that first victory in these championships. The lineups for Korea: we have Ki-bok Lee, the lead; Yoon-soo Oh, the second player; Si-hyun Song is the third player; and Chang-min Kim is the skip. He's the coach. Young-suk Lim. And there's the Japanese lineup. Their lead player, Kazuki Morozumi. Second, Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi. Setsuru Shimizu plays third. And it's Yuzuki Morozumi who's the skip. And their coach, Hatomi Naoka. So those are the lineups. And as you can see, that's the game going on the left-hand side there. Korea against Japan. And quick word with Sander, part of Team Norway, of course. Sander, you've seen a lot of these two teams this week so far. What's your thoughts on how this one will go?
Well, both teams have played what I would consider expected wins so far. Japan's played 5 games, 1 all. They played China. Korea's played 4 fairly easy games, so I think Japan might be a little sharper. Morozumi and Chang-min Kim, they haven't really played that many times. Last time they played in a championship was the Pacific Juniors back in 2006. They played 3 times, and Morozumi winning all 3, maybe just having a slight edge mentally coming into the game.
All right, we shall see. This is the lead player, Ki-bok Lee. And the lead for Japan, Kazuki Morozumi, 29 years old now, 18 years curling. This team's been together a long, long time, defending Pacific Asia champions.
Thank you.
And the players will be getting used to the ice now. 4 or 5 games under their belts. And the reaction has been hugely positive. Playing conditions spot on here. Maybe a little bit of help from the skip there. This one for Kazuki Morozumi. He's not curling, he's a sales clerk. Although they are away an awful lot, these teams, aren't they? On the tour, Sander. They're not at home very much these days.
No, and that's a thing I think you need to balance a little bit. It's important to be home and with family or friends a little bit throughout the season. Especially in the Olympic season, you tend to push all the gears and you might burn out. So I think taking some time at home is important as well. You've seen both the Chinese teams of Bin Yuang and Lu Rei. They are not here this week, gearing up for their Olympic qualification. Of course, these two teams will not have to go through that Olympic qualifier, as they're already secured their spot for Pyeongchang.
There's the rules of play for you. Minimum of 6 ends, the 38-minute thinking time, and that 160-second timeout, which we haven't actually seen too much of this week. When it gets to the latter stages of the event, I'm sure we'll see the coaches involved.
You know, some of the teams at this level are so experienced, they don't really need the input. But we might see a timeout in this game, I think.
This is to Yoshi Yamaguchi. He's 33, the second player for Japan.
Yeah, it doesn't quite come off for him there, and a chance for Korea to throw another guard. They're lying shot stone.
Okay.
Yoon-Soo Oh, 24-year-old second for Korea.
Good. 라인 맞아가지고 기보 라인 잡아줘. 라인 조금 타이트해.
Usong Curling Club in Korea. Been curling for 10 years now, and 6 years on this team.
3번 무조건 더 많이 돌아. 네.
Exciting time to be a Korean curler with the Olympics just a matter of months away.
Yeah, so that guard doesn't curl quite enough, so chance for Yamaguchi to come on the out turn with some softer weight, try and curl a bit around the guard. Get to the tight yellow guard here, onto yellow, onto red. Perfect shot by Japanese second, and Japan lied too.
Yeah, very nicely done. Look how well he negotiates the stones with his feet as well. Almost becomes second nature. Let's see the Korean response now. This is the third player. Si Hyung-song, 26-year-old.
Yeah, makes a nice hit and roll there. Japan still lying one. They do have the last stone advantage, and in curling, when you have the last stone, you do like to try and score 2 points or more.
Here we have a first look at Shimizu, Japan's third player.
Yeah, the man we like to call the Shinkansen Express. He can really throw the up weight.
Yeah, we've seen a few of those over the years.
So I'm just looking to draw the wing here and sit 2, trying to drag this as deep as possible, so the hit and roll in behind cover isn't available for Korea.
Okay, here, more. Control.
Every player has their own routine just before delivery. Everybody Small differences, but they're all different.
Actually trying to sweep with the grain, so to speak, trying to carve it in, get some extra finish on it. That's usually just a sign of desperation at this point. There's not a lot of effect you can get from doing it, and this one just blows right past everything.
But if you're going to do it, you do it in the first end, don't you? Not at a crucial point in the game as yet. And they'll have learned something from that shot as well.
Actually having a hard time to figure out where to put this one here. There's not a lot of room. Need to try and outcount the red stone at the top of the 12-foot. I think they're just going to come around the corner guard once more.
You can see it beginning to curl now. Easing its way past that red one. And just tucking in right beside the other yellow. Skip happy with that one.
14.1だからさっき入って14秒で今ほとんど吹かない
세아 더블도 가능할 것 같아. 더블 가능해. 예. 두껍게 히트롤 세게 가면 될 것 같아. 오케이. 다 보이지? 네, 다 보여요. 오케이. 두껍게. 이거 무조건 불러오게.
I'm just asking his front end how much you can see from the hack.
너무 제일 좋아, 세아.
First call was just to try and hit this on the nose and sit frozen, but just sliding halfway down the sheet, turned around and realized he could see a bit more than he initially thought. So going to try and play the upweight, perhaps get the double and the roll in behind cover, but he's going to have to shave the guard to make that happen.
Okay. 3분의 2. 예.
Chang Min Kim, the skip of Korea. Been around quite a long time now, 32 years old. Let's see where this one finishes.
Yeah, this one also under curls and again leaves Japan sitting too.
너무 많이 잡았어, 맞아요. Straight.
Korea red, Japan yellow. There's 2 yellow counters for Japan.
でもそれだったらこれには勝てないダブルくらいだダブルねそうだったらやっぱり勝てないそれいったんですけど面白いと思う
So Japan in a good position here.
LST の滑りでいい感じだな14秒
ドロ今の2投目が 14.1
今アイス14秒ぐらいだから LST と
13.914 ぐらいで5まで
And our first look at Yuzuki Morizumi, the Japanese skip. He's a sports instructor and he's not curling. He's out of Karizawa Curling Club in Nagano.
Line's good. Line's good.
Easing past that red guard. Just going to nudge along this other yellow.
Yeah, reasonably happy there. Line 3.
안까지. 안쪽까지 보여. 안쪽까지.
It's going to be a fairly similar shot here for Korea.
2점 주는 건 나쁘지 않네. 어떻게 할까?
그런데 이거 어그로 맞으면은 이까지만 가도 이기니까 롤 볼게요.
롤?
네.
그냥 롤?
일단 롤.
아니면 2개 더블?
아니면 2개 더블.
아니면 둘 중에 하나씩 선택해야 돼. 더블 되려면 얇아야 돼.
나는 일단
롤?
롤.
오케이.
형 어때요?
나 괜찮을 것 같아.
나도.
컨트롤?
Essentially, there's two options here. Either you
컨트롤 좋을 거.
throw a hard one, just try and double out the yellows, but then you leave Japan a fairly easy draw to score 2. I think the call they've ended up with in the end here is the hit and roll, which will leave 2 Japanese counters, but if they can roll the shooter in behind cover, might even leave them with a steal opportunity.
And that has to be absolutely spot on, doesn't it? That's possibly the more difficult shot. Watch out for the roll here, folks, and where it finishes.
Yeah, so bringing the weight down, trying to get the sweepers into play here.
컨트롤 다운! 1 다운! 예. 고! 고! 1! 예! 고! 컨트롤 다운! 고! 예! 예스! 예스!
Let's see what the line's like. Just not quite.
Just kind of stuck in between 2 shots there. And it's a pretty good chance for Yosuke Morozumi to make the nose hit and score 3.
It's just one.
It's all about the angle as well, isn't it? Just needed it to roll a fraction further.
아니면 노즈가 더 나을 것 같아. 이거 안 될 것 같아.
He was trying to help it along there, wasn't he? But sometimes the shouting works, Sandra, doesn't it?
Well, that's all you can do, really.
But this is an opportunity for Japan, and what a great start this would be for them against one of their great rivals here. So the last stone of this first end. How's it looking? They seem fairly happy. There we go. Away goes that red, and it is a super 3 for Japan in this first end. What a start for them. The defending champions, they lead after end 1. Korea 0, Japan 3.
10.5ぐらいだった。
見た目はでも 10.5 でももう
ラインはいいよ。結構したよ。結構したよ。ウェイトだけ。ラインはね、いいよ。13.8。もうで良さそう。ナイス。
Good line.
Wait there.
오케이.
셋.
기다리자.
둘.
여기 제일 좋아.
셋. 둘. 셋.
여기 제일 좋아. 은수 클린해 그래도.
셋.
할 수 있어. 할 수 있어. 스피드 좋아.
네, 스피드 좋아요.
오케이. 굿. 자, 기보가.
자. 자. 스피드 좋아.
Second end then of our featured match between Korea and Japan. Start 3 for Japan in the first end. Great start for them.
15.3 ナイススイープナイススイープスイッチあいいね
Yeah, it was a great first end, and the play we saw them have against China, the first 5 ends especially, they're just really good at utilising the sweepers, never overthrowing any rocks, bringing the sweepers into play. That's something Korea kind of struggled with in the first end. They were overthrowing a few of the takeouts, and of course when you overthrow, there's nothing you can do. And again, this is another example. Bit of an overthrow. The sweepers can't do anything. There's no way to stop a rock legally anyway. It does settle on the back of the 12 foot.
Keep up Lee,
14秒ってとこかい
junior champion in 2017.
Yep. He playing with his twin brother, playing vice for his skip and twin brother. Korea picking up a first medal at the World Juniors on the men's side. And, gold at that, so it was a great start in the Olympic arena in Gangneung. So obviously great memories for him to come back and play the Olympics in the same arena. He just won the World Juniors, and his brother will be representing Korea in the mixed doubles competition. So both the twins will be present.
Yeah, and Kibok just 22. What a year! What an 18 months it's been for him.
Bit of an overthrow by Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi here as well. So maybe this spot just keening up a little bit. The ice tends to get quicker when you throw a couple of rocks down the same path.
easy, easy. 마지막에 easy. 세. 여기 계속 쳤어, 세. 기버 no. 여기 세. 잘 나가. 기버 잘 나간다 여기. 오. 기버 끝까지 오. 아직. 기버가 니다.
아직 있어요.
아직.
그냥 가.
여기.
그냥 가.
여기. No bounce. 셋.
On the bottom, more or less, there's their coach, Korean coach, Myung-suk Lim. Watching closely, analysing every shot, every move.
Yeah, he's played the Pacific Asia Curling Championship himself. He's back in 2009 and actually played with Changmin Kim as skip. Finished 5 and 7 that year.
9.5
So he would obviously know his skip and the rest of the players quite well. And also works as a translator for the other coach they have, which is Bobby Ursel.
On the Japanese bench, there we have Hatomi Nagaoka. And she's sporting new glasses this year. I haven't seen those ones. They look fantastic.
Very nice lady, and she's been with this team for years and years. Talking about knowing your team, she'll know them quite well. Actually, Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi is married to her daughter, so it's hard to get closer than that.
And she'll be able to keep a close eye on him. Spilling a few here.
Well, you know what? That's a great shot there. Double and roll, fully buried in behind the corner, and I think they're even shot stone. So pretty perfect.
14秒ぐらいだよね。大丈夫。そう。はいはいよ。
結構遅いよ。遅いわ。
Super's working quite hard here. Is it going to make it past this guard?
Just coming up a bit late there. The good thing is didn't end up staggering the guard, so at least there's a chance to run that yellow stone back into the onto the red if necessary.
And there's the bench's view of the game. And the camera up recording the action.
Room.
여섯.
Yep.
Korea
웨이 여섯.
very much taking this end right to Japan at the moment.
Yes.
기보 가면 돼. 나이스.
가야 돼.
기보 계속 가. 기보 계속 가. 기보가 계속 가. 기보 계속 가.
굿샷.
Pretty nicely covered there. That's where all the training comes into place under, doesn't it? Look how hard they're working.
Yeah, and it's not for just that stone. It's, you know, playing a 10M game, sometimes twice a day. It really takes a toll on the body. I know quite a few curling players with bad shoulders and bad elbows and biceps and everything.
There's a lot of stress on them. Bang, bang.
Yeah, you'll actually, if you look at Yamaguchi's arm, there's some pink tape, so he's taped up a little bit to just help him with some issues. A lot of physios has come into the game in recent years, and you know, if you have the funding and the money, a physio can really help your team out.
Certainly at the top level, at the elite level. There's quite an entourage with some of these teams. There's a fine line between gold, silver and bronze and making your way up the rankings. This one's coming round nicely as well.
굿샷. 세현이요. 여기 좋아. 7, 8. 앞에 그 8번, 이거 7, 8.
今08
俺14.14
さっきでも14.5って言ってたよね
まで行ったよねあいつの番号止まるんかい
4.3? でまあとりあえず取ってきゃ
14.3だろうね
はい
14.3
今なんか14.1 で
So this one comes a little deeper,
相手リードのが
which means Japan can draw after it,
ない方だと
freeze onto it and get second stone, and effectively closing down the scoring area for Korea. It'd be hard for them then to find room for a second point.
So onto the skipped stones then in this second end.
Yosuke Maruzumi has enjoyed a good record against Korea in championship play all through juniors up until this point. 21-8 against the Korean sides.
This one's just going to snuzzle up against that one. Red one in the middle. Snuzzle's a curling term.
Well, I haven't used it too many times, but I might start using it now. So that one actually over curls a wee bit. It's fully in behind the guard, so that's good. But with it over curling, there's a chance for Korea then to put a corner freeze on this one, to try and angle the Yellowstone away from the red shot, and it's a bit of a setup for potentially a 2 or 3 with their last one. So just half checked onto this yellow is the plan.
좋아 얘들아.
Mine's good.
다섯.
Yep.
다섯.
어디야?
다섯.
라인 좋아.
Mine's good.
다섯 여섯.
끌고 가야 돼.
여섯. 다섯. 다섯.
끌고 가. 어.
라인 좋아 라인 좋아.
다섯. 여섯.
할기 먹어. Freeze it hard. 할기 먹어. Going hard.
It's pretty good effort. Does overcurl just a couple of inches. Because if you make a play on that redstone now, there's a good chance your shot stone will spill. But not a bad result at all.
ショックはなさそうだもんね、あそこまで隠れちゃってれば。
웨이트 저 웨이트 각이다 지금.
All right, so what are Japan thinking here?
Well, they're looking at 3 reds in the house, so they're just being a little bit careful and just thinking about every single possibility here before they make a move. It's a bit of a tricky situation. You can see them pointing at all different kinds of options.
いやこれのが楽か。これで3点になりやすい。
そうだね、これ行くとライン見せるし、これのピールがあるね、左は。
Looking at the run back,
そしたらドローで2点。
looking at the guard, 2 very different options.
まあ2点だしパターンはね。
Seems like the guard is the call in the end here.
Yeah, a variety of things could happen here. So Team Japan getting the best option they think will limit what Team Korea might get in this end. If you're a curler watching at home, what would you do here?
Yeah, playing a run back is a little bit risky. You might be giving up 3 this way. Throwing the guard, there's a good chance Korea will not score more than 2. But by plugging the hole here, you might leave Korea a pretty difficult shot for their deuce. So it just seems like the sensible call. And this one drifting perhaps all deep. Ends up in a decent spot. Korea's going to have a look to see if there's a chance to score more than 2, but I'd say there's a good chance they'll just draw for their 2.
어차피 이건 무조건 나가니까.
근데 진짜 얇아야 돼. 이게 만약 여기 사버리잖아. 다음 없어. 줘 나쁘지 않은데. 이거. 라이트. 줘. 조금만 누르면 될 것 같은데 여기 살짝.
He seems to be saying draw, and the rest don't seem to be agreeing. But
Well, it's, you know, you've played a good end. You got some couple of red ones in there, some decent angles. You just kind of want to be able to gonna play a shot for more than 2 here. But like I said, you know, the most likely thing was they were going to look at it, but then in the end realize that the draw is the only sensible call, and that's what they're going for. No need to spend more time thinking about it. There's no obvious shot here that makes any sense.
Mizuki Morozumi looking quite relaxed. It's a very happy team, this one. Team Japan.
8반이요. 8반.
방금 얼마였어?
9요. 방금 9 나왔어요.
They've done all they can, and now it's up to Korea.
Yeah, Changmin Kim played his first Pacific Asia Championship at age 13 back in 1998.
웨이트 6.
나이스 컷!
나도.
He's come a long way since then.
기본 갖고 와야 돼!
계속 가는 것 같아. 계속 가야 돼.
하와이!
Working this hard to keep the line.
계속 가야 돼. 계속 가야 돼, 계속 가야 돼, 계속 가야 돼, 가야 돼.
How's it looking? How's it looking? I think it's looking good. There we go. And nicely done by Team Korea. And a good response from them in the second end.
라이스 컷!
나도.
웨이트 올리 라이스 컷! 딜라인! 기분 갖고 와야 돼! 예스!
그래, 나는 것 같아.
예스!
계속 가야 돼.
하와이! 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 하와이!
계속 가야 돼. 계속 가야 돼, 계속
He's feeling every move there, isn't he? Urging it along. And good result for Korea. There we go. They've narrowed the gap. Just a one-shot lead now. Korea 2, Japan 3.
괜찮아!
웨이 셋!
예스!
이거 이상한 못 들어.
킥! 넘기기만 해. 여기 넘기기만. 하나만. 재현아 하나만. 얍. 굿. 고생 재현이야.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017. We're in the Erina Ice Arena in Erina, north of Sydney, Australia. Great to be here. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. Alison Walker and Sandra Rovag bringing you live commentary on this, our featured game between Korea and Japan. And as you can see, Japan 3-2 ahead as we head into end number 3. We expected a tight contest between these two teams. And that is how it's panning out so far.
타이트한 게 나아.
Yeah, I think we've gotten our money's worth in the two first ends. Lots of stones in play, lots of good shot making, and quite a few points on the board already.
짧은 게 나아.
See the release from the Korean lead.
라인 진짜 좋아. 와.
셋!
여기. 와. 와우씨야 계속 와야 돼 이거.
고고고고고고고고고고.
파이트라도. 오케이. 굿.
자.
Yeah, a bit of a half job from Kibo Klee. That first guard pulling up way short, and then the second stone not able to quite weld onto the yellow. This is slightly similar to the first end, where Japan now has a chance to draw to the open wing and sit 2. So creating maximum separation between their yellows. Needing this a little deeper, not to leave a double. At least past their own yellow, at least level. And they will, more or less.
필.
겁먹지 마.
미니멈 아이스 줄게 세게 던져.
So this one got a bit of weight on it. Expect that one
오케이.
to disappear.
그렇지.
내 말은 이건 아니야.
아, 예.
7まであればいいよ。ちょっとまだ曲がってない。
クリーン。
てっちゃん。
けるわ。
負けたけど。最後。
Just trying to get a bit of cover for that one. on the left.
13.9
3번이요. 클릭! 클릭! Yep! Go! 클릭! Yep! 클릭! Yep! Yes! 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 Hard! 기본 끝까지 hard! Hard! Good! 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 Good!
그렇지.
Hits and sticks. And again, that one targeted by Japan.
새끼 진짜 아닐까? 에이.
라이언이요.
같이. 같이.
받지만 해.
ちょっと当たるよ。ちょっと当たるよ。ちょっと当たるからね。
コースです。
あ、ウェットジャスト。ウェットジャストや。
Just enough to sit two.
ナイスナイスナイス。よいしょ。
No shortage of stones in play in this end either.
아, 저거 못 주세요.
幅自体が曲がるようになってきてるから相手のテイクも結構さそんなに悪いラインじゃないけど結構返ってきてるから
Two very attack-minded teams.
Yeah, played a couple of these guys at the Winter University Games this year, actually, in Almaty, Kazakhstan. Both the third and second.
웨이트 여섯! 여섯 좋아, 여섯!
How did you get on?
여섯 좋아, 여섯! 제일 좋아, 집중해!
I'm afraid we picked up a couple of fours and
웨이트 여섯!
won that game.
팅! 라인's good! 여섯!
12-6, I believe. So quite a high-scoring game. Entertaining though.
Yep, good fun to play in.
It was Seon Song, the third here. He was skipping the team, which is was a great championship. And actually, the skip of this team, Changmin Kim, he skipped Korea at the Winter University Games in 2011 in Erzurum and picked up the gold medal at that on that occasion.
Certainly got a lot of experience and a lot of silverware as well. But we know which one Team Korea really want.
Yeah, there's many opportunities to play championships in curling. You know, now you have the Youth Olympics. You can start off there, progress onto the World Junior Curling Championships. On student level, you have the Winter University Games, as mentioned, and then you get to play, Pacifics, Europeans, eventually Worlds, and then the Olympics. So it's a very nice progression.
And of course, a lot of players do double up and play mixed doubles, and you could be playing every single week at a championship. A lot of travelling, a lot of training involved, though, for these players. It's a busy year, an important year for many of them, leading up to the Olympic Games. That is the pinnacle for any curler.
진짜 좋아.
In many ways, the goal is the journey itself, though. I mean,
oh, that's very philosophical, Sander.
the fact that you can travel around the world with, for most teams anyway, your best friends and play curling and watch curling, enjoy meals together, and of course win from time to time. It's just great fun. You won't get rich by playing curling, but you'll be rich in experiences.
It is the passion for the sport, though, that drives most curlers.
So this one pulls up way short for Korea, and Japan again has something going. Looking to move up the rocks on the wing here. I think Yosuke Morozumi said je, which is 10 in Japanese. And 10 would be backline weight. So just slightly tapping the stones up here. But this one also just coming up short and over curling. I'm not sure if he just underthrew that one or if they're just getting a little bit caught out with the ice. Of course, early on in the game, the ice can be slightly tracky. You know, you hit a different spot, that acts a little differently. Although there's basically no frost in here. The ice has been great and seems to be pretty uniform.
저 7반 8요.
발은 좀 약할 것 같지 않나? 뒤로 약간 가도 되는데. 라인은 저기가 완벽해.
네, 7반.
세아 조금만 타이트해서 얹어줘. 오케이.
New chance for Korea to come in around everything.
세안이하고 똑같은 라인.
On the outturn draw, you see where the broom is placed,
세아이가 얼마야?
expecting it to curl at least 5 feet here. So some really nice swing to the ice, and that's what most curlers like, myself included.
Adjustments have to be made all the time, because if your opponent doesn't make the shot you think they're going to make, you have to alter your plans. So you never really can think too far ahead. Even at the top level, things can still go awry for whatever reason.
Okay, pretty good here. Swing and big though, just needs to sit.
But Japan, after it passes over that line, they can try and sweep it. So lots and lots of stones in play here in this third end. Lots can still happen. Japan hoping to extend their lead, 3-2 up at the moment. They are the yellow stones.
T にフリーズかな。14.12 だね。2。
Always great communication between the top teams, Sander, and most of the time they know what each other is thinking anyway, but they still say it, don't they?
Yeah, and as a thrower and as a skip sitting in the hack, sometimes you communicate to your sweepers, not necessarily for them to know anything, but just running through the process yourself and confirming things for yourself before throwing. And players do it differently, but yeah, communication is key in top level curling, and this Japanese team is definitely very good at communicating. That's another great draw by the Japanese.
I think we'll probably see a bit of it at the other end. Here we go, you see the skip at the back.
Yes, what's happening here is the sweepers are letting Shimizu, the vice skip, know how far the stone's going to slide, and then he will calculate the line if they need to sweep in terms of curling or not curling. And you need to do that constantly when the stone's sliding down the ice to be as precise as possible. Japan sitting 2. Korea is in a bit of trouble again. At least I think they're lying 2.
Is it possibly 3 there?
I believe the red one at the back, so it's counting the top yellow. I think they're looking if it's possible to come around with sort of a medium takeout weight here and play a double catch a piece of that stone just drawn by Japan and then spin over to the left hand side if you see it and catch the second counter, just like is showing there, or freezing. That's the two options. And in the end, it is the freeze. So just trying to weld the stone onto that stone drawn by Japan to sit the second shot. That will give Japan a fairly straightforward draw to score their two. In some ways similar to Murazumi's choice in the second end. You know, you can try and play the big shot to force your opponent to the single point, or you play the safe one in order not to give up the three. Still, this is not an easy shot to make. The good thing is he just threw this one though, so should be close. Just take off 6 feet of weight, let the sweepers do the rest.
So he knows the line.
웨이팅! No bounce. 바운스 있어요. 웨이팅 하세요. 왼쪽. 나이스 컷. 나이스 컷.
I wonder if the sweepers have left this short.
Was they not on it soon enough, Sander, or?
They just thought it was there. I think I heard them say bounce, as in it was heavy and would bounce off the shot stone. And in the end, it's a couple of feet short, so I think that is just a miscalculation by the sweepers. You know, sometimes you just feel like the stone's there, and then, you know, it just slows down for some reason.
It happens. So it's looking very good for Japan in this end.
Again, you can hear Murazumi in the hack talking to the sweepers, most likely about the weight, the speed, saying, you know, perhaps we were taking a bit more ice here. Is it the same speed? Should I throw less, more, so on? And just confirming with the sweepers before throwing.
So here we go with the last stone of this third end.
Kosuke Anyama, very alert, off and on, all the way down. Just enough.
They seem very chuffed with that, and why not? Well played by Team Japan. Nice, says the skip. That was very nice indeed. And Japan increased their lead in this our featured game against Korea. There we go. After 3 ends, Korea 2, Japan 6.
라인 いい感じ。ウェイトだけ。13.8。セーフ。
止まったね。なんか一瞬止まりそうに見えて、最後なんだよ。
Fourth end of our featured game, and Korea trailing now by 4, and it's still pretty early in the game. but they don't want to get too far behind Sander, do they? So they need to be quite positive here. Take the end to Japan. And that indicates that they are.
Well, there's two positives for Korea. One, it's a 10-end game, so quite a bit to go. The other is they have the hammer now, so a chance to set up for a multiple score. The con for Korea is Japan's really good front runners. So as soon as they have a lead on you, they're just going to start peeling everything. Remove your guards and try and kill your momentum.
And remove any opportunity to build a score.
And that's why I think Korea really needs a score of 2 here. Preferably more, but score of 2, they're very much in the game. If they're forced to a single point, that could be a little tough. 3 up with the hammer for Japan. In the 5th, that would be a big lead for them. And,
to keep up lead, slightly behind his opposite number on the Japan team, 53%. But still good stats for both leads.
Well, you remember he had a sloppy end there in the 3rd, that long guard, and didn't make the freeze on the 2nd one. Really put Korea on the back foot, and the result, Japan scoring 3. So as a lead, you know that when you throw a couple of bad rocks, you can see it, how it progresses in the end, and it's really annoying because it's such a long time till you get to throw again and make amends.
Yep. So important. The lead players getting those stones into position in terms of the way the end pans out.
Almost a bit of a commentator's curse here, saying they're good at peeling guards. This is not the best attempt from Yamaguchi, but I think it does the job.
He kind of got away with it, didn't he?
Yeah. Moves that redstone far enough to the side. You can see there's no chance in coming in behind the guard, being in the house. So good enough. Takes off 1 yellow, but not terrible.
Insu-O is 96%. There's a very concentrated expression on his face as he delivers. To replace the guard here.
Yeah, it's been at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships on 2 occasions as an alternate. I believe he came up to play 1 game, the bronze medal game back in 2012 against Australia, lost. So his first appearance in the starting lineup. You know, this Korean team was long in the shadow of another Korean team, Soyok Kim. They were representing Korea at the Pacifics, at the World Championships, and probably the team many thought were heading towards the Olympics, but the team we have with us here today was able to edge out Soyok Kim in the qualifier for the Olympic Games. And actually, the skipper, Changmin Kim, actually used to play in play juniors with Soyok Kim, his competitor. Actually 3 times, 3 World Junior Championships. It's a bit of a strange rivalry, playing together for so many years and then splitting up and facing off against each other.
Yeah, quite tricky for personal friendships, I would think. But Korea want the best team, the form team, especially when it's their home Olympic Games, to give themselves the best chance of a medal. They'll be after gold, no doubt. But this team might have a thing or two to say about that come Pyeongchang in February next year.
Okay. Nice shot.
Maybe in the future we might see Ki-Bok Lee skip his own team and play against his twin brother Ki Young Lee. You have a twin battle. That could be interesting.
Yeah,
It's one for the media.
Stranger things have happened. I think we've seen it from other countries as well. It's a very close-knit sport, curling. Families do tend to play.
세면 안 돼.
Si Hyung-song, 71%. Third player for Korea. Disappointing for him. Time to make it up, of course, but perhaps indicates why they're trailing by 4 shots here. Where's this one going?
Just over curling. You know, that long guard won't help them very much. So what they're trying to do is put a better guard in behind it. So Japan will peel the top one, and that way Korea will be left with a better guard to use. But now Japan changing up the play. Interesting. Maybe feel like it's a bit too early to switch on all the defensive gears, and yeah, a little cheeky here. Gonna throw the guard and say, all right, Korea, if you want points, well, you're gonna have to fight for it.
3の手前側だな。
Again, that communication. On, off, on, off.
Very, very enjoyable to watch this team. First of all, they're very nice guys, very happy. They're very positive all the time. But again, the communication, the calm they have, it's yeah, it's great.
And they can be deadly on the ice too. So precise when they're on form.
You know, they played together for years and years, and of course that helps a lot. Too many young teams, they switch the lineup up too often and they never get the consistency.
Yeah, they might have a few good games and then they lose it and then back again. You can hear that groan of frustration there.
Yeah, trying to come around the guard and move the stones in the house. Not able to, and I believe Japan's just going to throw the guard once more. Might have been an ingenious move there by Japan, switching up the play. Perhaps a little too aggressive by Korea.
Well, a lot for Korea to think about here.
13.8 だと思う。
Look at that, Yuzuki Morozumi, 92%.
That's good.
He hasn't had too many difficult ones really to make though, has he? But what he's done very well.
Wanting this to cross the center line completely.
Okay.
And finds the perfect spot.
Nice. Nice shot.
Just wanted to make sure that Korea didn't have the same shot available on the outside of the guard and roll towards the corner. Doesn't show a piece of the shot stone, but
때려도 내 본이 작아. 내가 봤을 때 런백에서 이거 무조건 캐치시켜서 움직여야 돼. 내가 아니면 이걸
doesn't look too good for Korea in terms of scoring two.
이건 너무 어려우니까 이게 나을 것 같아요. 맞아. 아니면 이거 런백 성공해서 블랭크 보던가.
난 이거나 이거 두.
아 그건 아니야 세연아. 왜냐면 원이 너무 좁잖아. 스틸 나가면 끝나. 뭐가 나을 것 같아? 런 아니면 이거. 이것도 가능해. 어려울 것 같아. 아 그거는 별로인 것 같아.
Is that all coming down? Just to have a discussion, a closer
이게
look.
나을 것 같아.
이게 좋은 것 같아.
런 라운드가 지나나.
Yeah, there's not a lot of good options here. Maybe play the draw, come around, maybe half buried around the shot stone. That's a tough one.
이거 하자.
오케이.
In the end, they're just gonna
Keep it simple.
yeah, a bit of a safer shot just to make sure they score, I think. Potentially a setup shot for 2. Coming down onto the second shot stone, which is in the white 8-foot circle, and just going to punch that a bit to the side and try and leave the shooter on the center line. But Changmin Kim will change his mind while sitting in the hack. He's going to throw the run back here and try and run the guard back onto both yellows, spill everything, and hope that he can perhaps blank the end, retain hammer, try again in the next end. Tough shot.
If it comes off, no, you can put them back in the game.
Just over curls here, and the worst part is that shooter rolls over and potentially will block off his out-turn draw for the single point. If Japan now just replaces the guard once more, it'd be tough to see Korea finding a path to draw.
He was quite a bit off here. There it goes. Look where that red one's finishing. And that passageway down there is limited.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit of a strange call there. I mean, much more like the first goal he had, or even tried to play it onto the shot directly just to move it out of the forefoot and just make sure you open things up for yourself to score your single. But now you're in big trouble. You see that red stone where it's ended up? That would be, it's right in the draw path to the button.
And Japan will try and make it even more difficult for him now.
Yeah, this is where sometimes you know, think you're sitting 2, you're 4 up. Yeah, we're never going to give up more than 1 point here, and some lack of focus. You missed the shot, but really important to just put this in the perfect spot. You can steal 2, you might kill the game right here. But
it's coming around a bit far, is it?
yeah, coming deep. Lying 3, that's good, but you've left a triple for Changmin Kim. And if he threw the run back on the first one, you'll be sure he's going to throw the triple here on the second. Potentially a 2-2 blank the end, actually. And that's opportunity lost by Japan. A good guard there, and that's tough for Korea to score at all. Not saying this is a gimme, but
Well, this still needs to come off, doesn't it?
it's actually not the hardest shot to make. It's about thick half, 2/3. If he throws this in practice, I'm sure I'll make it 3 out of 4 times.
Morozumi knows he had a chance there. Still in a good position, Japan, but let's see what Korea can do here. Last stone of the 4th. Does he like it? Does he like it?
Oh boy.
Oh
I steal up
dear.
2.
So Japan end up with 2 anyway, a steal of 2, and bad news for Korea. Very disappointing from their point of view. Apologises to his team. That's what sometimes happens, though. Morozumi's a little surprised at that, perhaps. Look at that lead now after 4 ends. Korea 2, Japan 8.
ラインはねいい感じ。
ラインはいいよ。
いい感じ。
6、7。
7まで行きたくないな。
オッケー。
伝わるかい？
ラインは大丈夫。ウェイトだけ。
伝わるかい？大丈夫？
クリーンクリーンクリーン。大丈夫大丈夫だ。13.6。
ナイス。ナイスウェイト。
Good. Okay.
So we're in end number 5 now. And look at that lead Japan has over Korea. 8-2 now. A long, long way back for Korea here. Alison Walker and Sander Rovag bringing you live commentary on this our featured game. And if you're Korea, Sander, you've still got to be thinking positively.
Yeah, I mean, they're undefeated coming into the game. They might feel like this one's lost, but yeah, just got to play a couple of good ends here and try and snag a few points. It's not over, but it's definitely looking bad for the Koreans.
It's psychologically more than anything knowing you've got that deficit.
Yeah, I'm sure they've been through it many times before. We all have, but it's always tough.
What's been your biggest comeback from being X down?
At a championship level, maybe when we won the Winter University Games, and was it 2015?
And how far back were you? How far behind were you?
I think we're down 3 or 4 or something, and ended up stealing one in 10 and stole one in the extra.
Nice, good.
Well, that was 3 or 4.
Nice, good.
Yeah, I can tell you I've never been down 6 and won a game, not at a championship or an international competition anyway. Maybe in the Monday League games back home.
So a lot for him to think about here. You just want to perhaps narrow the gap, just take the game to Japan a bit. These two teams see a lot of each other.
Well, I mentioned how Korea's only had expected wins so far. I mean, they've played the Kazakhstan, New Zealand, Chinese Taipei, and Hong Kong. Those are 4 teams they're expected to win against. This is their first real test this week, and of course, when you play against some of the not so good teams, you're not maybe as sharp coming into this game. Japan has already been able to play one of the better teams in the competition from China, so maybe that just helping them a little bit. It's like when we've come to a championship and maybe we have Canada in the first game, sometimes we're quite happy to have that, just because we know we're going to have to bring our very best early in the week and just kind of set the level for the rest of the week.
Yep, hit the ground running. Sharpen you up.
Yeah, and for Korea, it's been maybe a bit of a soft start, although they have struggled a little bit. And both teams like New Zealand and Chinese Taipei and Hong Kong has given them a bit of a fight, so I'm not just sure if they're gelling at the moment. Of course, there's lots of pressure on this team. Like I mentioned, Soyuk Kim looking like the team for Korea so many years, and Chang Min Kim taking their spot. All eyes on them. Everyone's thinking, oh well, are you good enough?
Yep, you need to come up with the goods here.
So it's, yeah, I think a lot of pressure on their shoulders.
형 3번이요.
Okay.
And I guess you could view it that this will sharpen them up perhaps for the remaining round-robin games. So they'll up their game, this Korean team.
Yeah, it's exactly that. You know, Japan's setting the bar here, and Korea's going to have to try and creep up to it for the next game.
Yep. Whoa. Biste. Giboga. Yep.
And although this is not Korea's Best game, perhaps, if you have to hand it to Japan. They've been solid, and they've looked solid all week. And they looked really solid against China. And it's pretty exciting because, you know, they'll be back at the Olympic Games for the first time since '98. So, of course, a first time for the Smurzumi 4. And they've been missed at the Olympic Games, I can tell you.
And they're certainly a very popular team on the circuit. In Canada, a lot training as well. Just kept things simple in this game. And done the simple things well.
Yeah.
So throwing the triple takeout here, actually. Those two first yellows fairly welded, so you might see a bit of a drag action here where the first stone will drag the second rock in the direction the first stone wants to go. Not a lot of drag, I have to say. The middle one will stick around.
So a couple of yellows gone.
A bit of a rule of thumb when you're down big is not hit anything, but more try and push stones in the back and set up in a bit of a nest. You know, it's in for a penny, in for a pound. Just throw the kitchen sink at it, so to speak. But I just wonder if Korea just not too interested in overcomplicating it. Perhaps just wanted to open things up just a wee bit. They're coming around here anyway.
안 본다. 안 보여.
You do have to play 6 hands minimum. So all they can do here is play a couple of good ends and take something from it.
라인 좋아 진짜. 웨이트 연을. 티. 라인 좋아. 티. 웨이트 연을. 세면 안 돼. 세면 안 돼. 잘 봐. 웨이트 어디야? 아우. 아 너무 센데? 너무 센데?
And Japan still have to keep their concentration levels up. It's an 8-2 lead, but it's not over till it's over.
あ、そうだね。ちょっと止まる目だわ。13.5ってとこか。13.2で。
でもさ、これ T に止まればさ、それはそれでワンツーになっていいし、そんなに 13.5?
Looks like Yosuke Morozumi will just follow the draw here.
さっきのドロー投げてたのが 3.8 ね。
そう。
That's Hugh Milliken in the back. The Australians are on a good run.
Mizuki, big baseball and basketball fan as well.
Yeah, baseball's pretty big in Japan. You'll have a handful of Japanese players in the MLB, Major League Baseball, in the US. I think I saw Yosuke Morozumi come on to one of the games in Japan and throw the first pitch.
Oh, you would love that. Absolutely love that. And being at the top of one sport does open other doors sometimes. You've got to take advantage of.
Yeah, sometimes you can learn from other athletes in different sports. Sometimes you don't think there's anything in common, but start talking, and it's sometimes very similar in the way you train and think and mentally prepare for games.
Okay, 웨이트는 아마 그 정도 될 것 같아. T.
I know in Norway we have tons of good athletes, at least in winter sports. And it's always fun talking to people that do different sports. Lots to learn.
And they kind of know what you're going through as well at the top level. They understand the commitment and the discipline of elite sport, the sacrifices you have to make.
Yeah, that's something maybe curling has been lacking naturally for a while, but now really taking a lot of advice from elsewhere, and I think preparations and commitment is something curlers are quite adept to now.
And you know, it's anything that gives you that extra edge over somebody else, Sander.
Yeah, all curlers are becoming athletes like anyone else, and I think you'll see quite a few curlers at the top level be as physical fit or more than athletes in other sports.
See that red Korean stone snuzzled against the yellow Japanese one.
Yeah, I have to say that was a pretty perfect little freeze there. It'd be hard to place that any better with your hands. I think Morozumi will just have to follow this down and hit it on the nose. Your back yellow will go on to the back red, and then the shooter will then stay frozen on the top of the red. And if you can catch it just a hair on the center line side, you might be able to lie shot stone on top of the red and make it really difficult for Korea to score two. Or score at all, actually. Another good chance to witness some communication here. Throwing the soft weight, bringing Yamaguchi and Kosuke Morozumi into play here with the sweeping. Yeah, this one's going early. Pretty good result, just over curls though, so you can see the red stone is a shot stone, and it will be a chance to draw it down onto the button for two. But did a good job to hold that past the top yellow, I have to say. Came quite close to it.
커버한다는 거. 얼마인데?
8이었어요.
그때 8이었어요. 그때.
8 5이요.
네. 6번 합시다. 네. 오케이. 방 웨이트. 네.
Now this is the shot that a skip should have in his back pocket all the time. He's drawing to the button for the extra point. It's a lot of games are won and lost with these type of shots. And of course, when he lets go, it's all down to the sweepers and the vice skip to communicate this to the right spot.
So last stone of this fifth end.
Okay.
Looking to head into the break with a real positive feel. Here it comes, here it comes. There we go. No problem at all for Korea there. And they picked up a couple heading into the break. Still a long way back for them. A chance to regroup. Have a chat with the coach. After 5, it's Korea 4, Japan 8.
Let's take a look back onto the first 5 ends here between Korea and Japan. First end, it's Yosuke Morozumi, skip-off team. Japan with the out-turn hit. Just right on the beak. Score of 3, great start for the Japanese. Korea is able to score 2 back in the second. As we move on to the third, Yosuke Morozumi with a chance to draw in for another 3. Some good sweeping from younger brother Kosuke and Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi. And he will score that 3, 6-2 after 3 ends of play. Steal of 2 for Japan, and the fourth leaves us with this last one draw in the fifth. Changmin Kim draws to the button for 2, and it's 4-8 as we're halfway there.
There's the stats for you. Well, we know the score, 8-4. Good lead for Japan, and up everywhere except for the draws. But in terms of the hits, 90% to 59%. Of course, those 2 stolen points as well. Japan in really good shape in this, our featured game.
I'm not surprised to see Japan playing 90% on their hits, but I am surprised with the low numbers on the hits for Korea. They're known for being able to throw the upweight themselves. But Changmin Kim, if you remember, had 2 pretty huge misses when they gave up that steal of 2. As the scar just pulls up in time.
Yeah, I think it's just about half an inch there on the edge of the 12-foot. Great stats for Morozumi, for Kazuki Morozumi, the brother of the skip.
Yeah, so that stone is in the free guard zone. Japan is not allowed to hit it, remove it from play. If it, of course, slid another 2 inches, that would be allowed.
How far is this one going?
Too far.
All
And,
the way.
I could have probably told you this before the end started. I've seen this pretty much every game so far this week. What happens at the halftime is the ice makers will mop the ice, take some of the debris off of it, but also they'll put more pebble around the hack. You know, drops of water. And that just, at least for my personal experience, you tend to come out the hack a little faster. So when you come onto the 6-10 break, it's a bit more pebble, come out a little bit faster, and the ice is a little bit quicker because they mopped it. And that's why that first guard was just barely pulled up in time, and that's why Kosuke Morozumi probably, you know.
But you know that the ice guys are going to do that, so you do not compensate for that?
Well, I do. I'm just not sure if they're thinking it all the way through. But
you can see the ice there. You can perhaps see the slight pebbling on there.
Yeah, so the ice makers put that on. That wears down as the end or as the game progresses, and that's why they put some extra pebble around the hack so it doesn't become all flat. Because again, if it's all flat, a lot more friction, and it's not as easy to move the rock when you're sitting in the hack. So it's a good thing that they're doing it. It's just you need to just pay attention.
Yep.
It's
factor it into your thinking.
Norwegian lead Håvard Vald Pettersson for Team Ulsrud. He was the one that taught me this. You know, he calls it the pebble trap. And just be aware that you come back on. He'll even drag the stones up and down to try and break down the pebble before he throws.
Good inside information here, folks. If you're a curler,
I'm not sure.
This.
Not sure if it helps that much, but yeah, just keep it in mind. This only really happens at the championships, though, so that wouldn't happen in a normal Spiel tour event, and that will take part in a curling club, which is what these players mostly play throughout the year. And they would only play 1 or 2 championships a season. Everything's a little bit different, but I think, in my opinion and everyone else's, it's always better at the championships. Better ice, better atmosphere, 10 end games, lots of time in between the draws, and That's the best. And I don't think the players mind hanging around the central coast between games after either.
It's not the worst place, for sure. Entering into Australia's summer, so the weather out at the arena has been pretty nice most of the time.
Sit. Good. 딱 좋아.
고시.
잘 썼어요.
고시. 야, 이거 세야 살짝 끌었어요. 좀 길어.
So this is the clear tactic here. Pretty standard for Korea. You throw a couple of center guards. You want to try and keep as much separation between them as possible, so your opponent can't play the double takeout and remove both the guards with one rock. They haven't been able to line them up perfectly though, so Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi is trying to come around the first guard and play the hit and roll off the second, but this one over curling actually with quite a lot, and actually nose hits the first one. That's a huge miss. Not sure what happened there. If that was just a bad throw, it looks like it.
He hasn't had the best of games here. His stats are a bit lower than everybody else's.
I remember had that near miss when he was peeling the corner guard early in the game too.
I did notice he had some quite heavy strapping on his right arm there. Yamaguchi. This is Si Hyung-sung, the third player, 63%. He struggled a bit as well.
Got to make this one. Actually have a great chance of setting up for a steal here. I'm pretty sure they wanted that to come around the guard and onto the forefoot. So a bit of a miss there. You know, you put that top four, two center guards in front, Japan's in trouble. Couldn't quite get there. And it's now the Shinkansen Express, Tetsuro Shimizu to throw the run back, I think.
And here he goes, 80% Shimizu.
Just over curling. Removes top guard. That was the main objective.
정중앙에 막으면 제일 좋아. 둘 하나.
And Korea will try and replace that guard. And at one point, they'll probably gonna try and come around the guards again to try and sit two. It'll be tough to steal one for the next 5 ends here, so they're gonna have to try and risk stealing two. And if they steal two, you know, it's game on.
아직 가까이 오면 별로야. 끝. 자세나.
조심하세요. 그래. 후반.
No, it's all about the Reds at the moment.
Lined the guards up really nicely here. Not much of an angle for Shimizu to work with. Just overswept it a wee bit. Yeah, those are tough to make.
가까이 가볼까요, 이때와? 하나 지키기 제일 중요하니까. 웨이트 어때? 기보가?
방금 4초였어요.
오케이.
4초? 하나 감고 4초요. 제 거 4초 1이에요.
Had to curl maybe a centimeter more.
아, 괜찮아. 오케이. 괜찮은 것 같아.
And there's Changmin Kim's stats. It's not great, 63%. The Korean skip.
루시아 끌고 가
And in
일단.
part 2 of the game, he really needs to step it up.
컬링.
넘어가야 돼. 넘어가.
이렇게 안 돼.
넘어가.
와우. 거기 좋아. 제일 좋아. 와우. 루시아.
Not often you see the skips making those types of shots.
No, but if you have to, it's usually because you're liking what you see in the house. I think if you're a skip and you're throwing long guards for the whole game, you're probably winning. And now Japan again shifting the play here. He's thinking, you know, we're down to skip rocks. We're not going to be able to clear the guards up in time. If we only peel the top one, Korea comes around to sit 2, we're in more trouble. So we're just going to make the draw right here.
Get one secured.
Of course.
本当に1センチとか2センチ押せると1取れる。
7ってここ T ラインの上
T ラインの真上のこと。
Again, some really good communication here. Probably just talking about the weight.
I was going to say, how good's your Japanese?
Not very good, but it's
It's universal curling talk, isn't it?
yeah. The conversation and the hack there is very often the same. But yeah, there's a slight risk involved here, of course, if you end up throwing this through the house. You know, Korea's coming around line 2. It's fully guarded. Needs to make it.
Marazumi's playing at 88% though, so he'd be confident about making this.
Would love to tap it up for Shotstone. I think they've got. I think they have it.
It's very close.
It's a
Well,
great
that
clutch draw.
Beautifully done by the Japanese skip.
Yeah, that's what you need. Well, the team's been really good at setting up the ends for Yosuke Morizumi. This time, he's able to repay the favor by saving his team out of trouble.
Such an important shot, this one. And it was pinpoint accuracy. Here it comes. You see it curling round now. Little nudge. And Shotstone. Japan.
좀 세네, 알겠죠?
Well, call is made here for Korea. This is a tough one right here. So the plan here is to just play back ring weight, maybe hack weight on the intern. Come half around the top guard. And run that red stone top of the blue 12-foot onto that stone just thrown by Morozumi. Sit 2, fully buried. If he makes it, it's really good.
There won't be much left for Morozumi.
Well, if this is not made, we might not see another end in this game.
It's going to catch that guard. Oh, it does.
It's not the first time he's overcurled his interns today. Just not sure if it's not coming fully out to the brush or if it's just a bit soft, but quite a few of his interns is overcurled.
They certainly made a lot of the right calls, but their execution hasn't really been as good as they've wanted it to be.
Yeah, it's one of many factors. You know, it's either they're not putting the brush in the right spot, they're not throwing the right weight, or or if they're just being a little softer and inconsistent with their releases. There's many variables, and today they've just been guessing a little too much. Well, Japan's just been kind of spot on from the get-go.
I'm sure their coach will be analysing this game, because they cannot be affording to miss ones like those, even against the top teams.
And now I think you'll see Japan. I think they're a third shot in the back of the house there. So Murazumi's going to throw just a soft take out and try and catch a piece of the stone he just threw. That way, remove Korea's second shot. And that should be a score of 2 for Japan. Risk-free shot to put the game away. Just needed to curl a bit more. And here it comes. Just jams, but I think it's enough for 2, Alison.
Is that yellow or is that? I think it looks yellow from this angle, and they say yes.
Nice ball.
So an end that looked like Korea might get something out of it has very much swung the other way after 6. Japan extend their lead once more. Korea 4, Japan 10.
いやでもちょっとあるように見える感じだね。速そうだったね。かっこいい。
ちょっとあるかい？見てる感じだと思うけど。あるかい？ラインはいいよ。はいよ。ナイスグッド。ラインはいいよ。4.2。ナイスセーフ。
So 7th end of our featured game. We're live at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017 in Erina.
Good.
On the coastal highway north of Sydney, Australia.
Sure.
Continuing our round-robin coverage here inside the Erina Ice Arena. And this has been our featured game, Korea against Japan. And Japan really haven't looked in any trouble in this game at all. Have executed their game plan really well.
Yeah, it slipped up a little bit in the previous end. Definitely gave Korea a chance to steal a couple. I know it's some better execution from the Korean skip. You could have seen them steal a couple of points and made this game interesting, but at 10-4, I have to say this game is pretty much over, and I wouldn't have been surprised to see Korea just shake hands and say enough is enough, but they might be thinking, you know what, we've had 4 pretty easy games so far. This is the best team we played all week. Let's play another end, maybe 2, you know, step up our game a little bit.
Yep.
Try and be a little sharp because we have an important game tomorrow. Korea's playing China, and they only have the 1 game tomorrow, so it's not like they really need to preserve energy in the same way if they had 2 games.
A little bit of analysis, I'm sure, after this game for them about some of the shots they made or didn't make. There's Team Japan. Just gone about their business very professionally. Good execution. And this chap has produced a couple of really tasty shots to keep his side well ahead. 10-4 Japan.
Line's good. 세연이만 해줘요. 라인 땡겨. 고. 셋. No. 다 맞겠다. 그렇지. 그렇지.
지금 건 안 따라와.
세연이 형 9. 세연이 형 9. 9.
Nice shot. Thank you.
Yeah, two nice corner peels by Yamaguchi. Sure, I'll be happy with that after a sloppy sixth end. Those are the kind of shots you can't really afford to miss.
Line's good. Line 정말
You know,
좋아.
as a second,
Ball room.
I think your goal would be to maybe not miss more than
라인이 우선이야.
one corner guard peel and for the whole week.
Room. Oh, good.
It's one of those shots you should always be able to pull off.
And that's what he practices again and again and again and again.
So this is one of the easier shots in curling. So it's more about just staying focused than anything. Of course, sometimes nerves come into play a little bit.
The ice as well. There are variables.
Sometimes you just overthink it, and sometimes you just come out technically a little bit unstable. It happens.
But at the very top level, like some of the Canadians, you don't see. Yeah, they do only make one. They only miss one in a whole game.
Yeah, definitely. No, well, not only Canadians, but yeah, the top teams in the world, they rarely miss corner guard peels or putting up corner guards. These type of simple shots, they're simple, but they need to be made. That's a great drop. And this is a good showcase for any young team out there. Instead of trying to freeze onto stones or tap them around, you can use the stones as guards. Now, it might not be as easy in your home club if it doesn't curl as much as here, but if you have enough swing, why not just come around it?
At least give it a go. Try something different.
I can tell it's a lot more effective. Oh my. A huge miss by Tatsuro Shimizu. It completely over curls. I think Yosuke Morozumi does well there to stop the sweepers in the end. Just hoping to get the redirect, and they do, but still apologizes to his opponent there. Curling is the same as in, I think, like in snooker. Like you're supposed to call a shot.
You end up doing something else.
Wait, out. No, 아직. out. 죽는다 이제. 8. 여기. 티가 제일 좋아. 절대로
Is this one looking a little bit speedy as well?
Oh, it's in the house.
미안. 얼만데?
6.
아까보다 괜찮았어.
ちょっとさっきの遅かったよね。遅かった。9.5か9.7か9.8ぐらいだと思う。と思った俺。
今ワンツーあれ出せばスリー。あ、違うわ。ワンツースリー。
That's a great look of the sheet. 150 feet, about 45.5 meters long from bumper to bumper.
Yep, gives you an idea of just how far that stone has to go and how accurate these guys are.
ちょっとあるかな。8.7、8.5。
Trying to roll the shooter in here. And they do. Japan lies 4.
Nice shot.
Korea, of course, kind of they would like for that red stone in the back of the 12 to come into play, but it might be hard.
Just a bit too far on the edge, I think, to be influential, unless it forms some sort of barrier.
Yeah, you're going to have to move 4 yellows, and you only have 2 shots left.
여기 노즈하고 이거만 캐치면 되면.
네, 노즈.
노즈.
네.
노즈.
네.
Looking to see if it's possible to play a triple takeout here. Top 3 yellows.
돌지 않았어 아까 니꺼 맞지? 그렇게 많이 돌지 않았어.
네, 아까 내거 피 약간 들었어.
They're thinking, or at least hoping, that the top yellow will spring off the second one onto the third and then up and out. And I'm just worried that the first yellow they'll be hitting will just catch pretty much just the dead side of the third yellow and sit there. I'm not sure if they'll be able to get all the 3s going.
Those 2 yellows are very close together.
He'll be throwing this pretty hard, though. As hard as he can.
He needs one to come off in this game. Nothing's quite happened for him as yet. The Korean skip.
Got some pretty good action on the yellow after all.
Yep, not a bad outcome.
Didn't get it far enough, though, for it to be worse than the back red, unfortunately. But it was probably possible, just had to throw that a bit harder. It comes off that
Yep,
third yellow.
The angle was good.
원츠. 아래 내려봐 원츠.
Not sure if Morzumi needs to be too worried about where he leaves the yellow shooter. Just need to get the red one going. And I don't see a shot for 2.
And those yellows well spread out also.
I think Korea will just have to draw for 1 here. And it might just be the last stone of the game. Maybe just trying to finish on a high note here. Draw the forfeit. 4-1.
So a good evening for this team. They're heading for win number 6 at these championships.
나이 좋아.
아산. 나쁘진 않는다. 나쁘진 않는다. 왼쪽. 왼 좋아요.
Here we go, the last stone of this 7th end.
계속 하기 보가.
왼쪽에. 왼 좋아요.
스위핑. 굿샷.
Korean skip. Attempting this draw, which he makes successfully, secures a point there.
Okay, looks like we'll go 1 more.
제수 맞지? 이거. 저거 노린 건 아니었는데.
So not eating too much into that Japanese lead. They get 1 back, but Japan still very, very much in control. There we go, end 7, Korea 5, Japan 10.
하나. 색깔 것 같아요. 색깔 것 같아요.
할 수 있어. 얍.
색깔 수 있어.
갈 수 있어. 오.
네.
봐 이제. 15초 64. 좋아. 태연아 더. 또 스위핑.
굿샷. 이봐 왜 좋아.
See the Japanese bench there behind. I'm sure they must be very happy with the way their team has performed
Yes.
in this game against Korea. Still a long way to go for all these teams, and so much at stake with those 3 World Championship places available in Las Vegas next year.
ちょっと早いね多分7は超えそうじゃない
And that is quite an incentive, isn't it, Sander?
Yeah, well, Las Vegas. Good, fun place to go to. Not sure if players will be able to indulge too much, though, with the championship ongoing. As we see Ki-Buk Lee coming out the hack, but then resetting. You don't see that very often, but I believe the rule is you just have to stop before the tee line. So
He did right to go back and have another go. We see with tennis players, they throw the ball and it's not quite right, so they get another chance as long as they haven't hit it.
yeah, it's impressive to be able to stop there, actually. Now, we've talked about the free guard zone, and Japan is not allowed to hit or remove the guards from play when they're in the free guard zone, meaning in front of the house, but you are allowed to move them, and that's what Kosuke Morozumi did with his first one. He just kind of tickled the first guard and bumped it into the house, and because it's inside the house now, it's actually allowed to hit, so that's what they're doing, and this way they're eliminating the amount of guards Korea can have in play. But Kosuke Morozumi over curls here, and he's going to be below 80% after that effort.
And his Korean counterpart slightly ahead of him.
Yeah, so again, Korea getting something going. Sloppy shot by Kosuke Morozumi.
And perhaps a tiny bit of complacency psychologically when you've got that commanding 10-5 lead. It takes away the sharpness, the edge that you've had the rest of the game, because the game is won.
Yeah, maybe that's what Korea is thinking about, you know. Let's just keep it going. You know, a drowning man will clutch at a straw.
Top level sport, you always have to believe.
Ooh. Great shot by Yamaguchi. 2 reds going. Rolls the shooter out of play. It's looking a bit more tidy now. Yeah, you can see Yamaguchi at 75%. Not his best game. Couple of hiccups. And so, yeah, it's pretty good numbers, but then again, he's been, you know, just throwing up guards for 3 or 4 ends now. Of course, improving his stats, but none of the Korean boys had a very good first 3 ends where the game was won. Nice double by Yamaguchi. Leaves the center guard, but at least just off the center line. And it's better to be yellow than red, if anything. Definitely working hard here, the Koreans. Giving it all.
자.
버티가 이. 너 때문에.
어디야?
여섯.
야.
다섯.
T-line. Hard시야. Hard. Okay. Good.
Well, let's see if Shimizu can get everything going here. It might go yellow, yellow, red. We'll see. 1, 2, and 3. There we go.
Whoa.
Amazing shot by the Japanese third.
Clears everything. He loves making those, doesn't he? I wondered if he was going to get this one there, but he did. Good stuff from Shimizu of Japan.
Just clearing the table in one swift motion.
예.
That's quite demoralizing for the Koreans.
Comparison of the thirds for you. And Shimizu way ahead on the song. And another.
Well, it's pretty typical. You make the toughest one, the triple, clear everything, and then you don't make the simple peel on your second. Cliche. Does roll it far enough though to open up the forfeit. So it's good enough. Japan's only looking to score a 1 here. So.
Yeah. Not too many stones in play, which suits them. Korea certainly showing in this end a little bit more of what they're made of. And certainly playing much better towards the end of the game than they did at the start.
T-line, yeah. T-line. 계속 가야 돼. Nice, good. Hard. Hard 좀만 T-line. Go.
Yeah, nice draw in around the corner. Yosuke Morizumi will have a chance to play a run back. It's not only Shimizu that can throw the up-weight shots in this team. The skipper is fairly adept at doing it himself. And yeah, his up-weight shots against China the other day was top-notch. Bit of a stumble. You're starting to wonder if there's a tiny bump or something around the hack.
Well, we've seen a couple of the players now, haven't we?
Maybe something Jamie Brasson needs to look into. But not enough to throw Yosuke Morizumi off his game, that's for sure.
Away it goes.
Nice shot.
Well done, my brother. All in a day's work for Izumi Morizumi. Look at that. They're way up in every area.
Yeah, he's looking super solid this week. That's what you need. If you're going to win a championship, your skip, or at least whoever's throwing fourth rocks, needs to be on the top of his game. Of course.
You need the setup play to be good as well, but
yeah, you need the whole team to be there, but without a skip on fire, you're not winning a championship.
yeah, at least they sometimes get you out of trouble, which the skips invariably do. But the rest of his team has performed pretty well.
This one has some curling to do.
You want it round behind that other yellow. Pass cover.
빨라.
예, 되게 빠른 스팟이죠.
Curls up in time. Actually ended up over sweeping it a little bit. Definitely quite a bit of room for Yosuke Morozumi to draw to now for
그냥 가면 안 돼, 생각보다.
his single point.
13.8
Just fully in the 8 foot is more than good enough.
8に丸々入るだけだ。
13.7
It's been a testing game for Korea against the in-form team from Japan. It's the last stone.
はいはいよちょっとあるかなちょっといい感じだろちょっとあるんじゃないコウスケいい感じだよまだ曲がってないよジャストでジャスト曲がってきてるよいやウェイトジャスト89かな89かな 13.7 うん9よいしょ
Just enough.
There it is. And Japan, and that is it. They're calling it there quits. And it's a super win for Japan. Never really looking in doubt all the way through. Well played from the skip and his team. Korea certainly getting going a bit better in the second part of the game, which will give them some positive stuff going ahead to tomorrow. But all about Japan in this one. Final score, Korea 5, Japan 11.
We'll take a look at the first end between Korea and Japan in the Pacific Asia Curling Championship. It's Yosuke Morozumi, skip of Japan, throwing the outturn hit to score 3. Great start for them. Taking full advantage of last stone. Korea picks up 2 in the second. We move ahead till the third. Again, a chance for Japan to score 3, this time with the draw. Some heavy-duty sweeping from the Japanese front end to get it there, but it will be 3 and a 6-2 lead after 3 ends of play. Still of 2 for Japan, and the fourth end brings us to the fifth. A really nice freeze by the Korean skip to set up this shot. Draw for 2. right back in the game.
굿샷. 우리 뜯어 이제 알았지?
Back onto the ice after the halftime break. Sixth end, Yosuke Morozumi looking to move the Korean second shot. Does move it far enough to score two. And it's a 10-4 game after 6 ends of play. Score one for Korea in the 7th end, and another single on the board, but this time for Japan in 8th. Means Korea shake hands, and the final score 11-5, solid win for the Japanese. And here is Yosuke Morozumi with Alison Walker.
Congratulations on another win. How do you feel?
おめでとう。またの勝ちでどんな感じでしょうか。
はい、予選でまずは負けたくない相手でしたので、オリンピックで当たる可能性のある韓国にしっかりと勝ててよかったです。
Well, we wanted to make sure to win. This is an opponent we expect to face in the Olympics, so we really wanted to beat them.
How do you feel your performance compared to previous performances?
他の大会とかの今日のパフォーマンスはどうですか？
徐々に、一試合一試合上がってきていて、今かなりチーム全員がよく投げてくれているので、自分自身も楽にショットできてすごく良かったです。
So with each game, we're feeling better and stronger, and everyone was making their shots really well, and so we're feeling more confident.
Is there anything you feel you should be working on?
これから今課題で勉強した方が課題した方がいいところがありますか？
まだ少しミスが出るタイミングがあるので、大きいミスになってしまわないようにしっかりとチームでコミュニケーションを取ってミスを少なくしてさらに上がっていきたいと思います。
So, well, sometimes you make mistakes. We've got to watch where the timing of making those mistakes is a big deal. So we're watching the communication and making sure we communicate well. That's a big thing.
Well played. Well done.
Yeah, another great game by Japan. Will they win the Pacific Asia Curling Championship this week? We don't know. Lots of curling left to be played here in Erina, Australia. Stay tuned.